Alright, here's our review for first 1 and 2 step equations. We want to get the letter all by itself. Remember, if there's a negative, put it on either the top or the bottom, but not both. So to get rid of this fraction, remember we multiply by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal is just flipping the fraction. 3 over negative 2 times 3 over negative 2. 2 over 2 makes 1, 3 over 3 makes 1, so we just have 1d or d. 8 is really 8 over 1, so 8 times 3 is 24. Negative 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. So 24 divided by 2 is 12, and it's negative. On the next one here, 18g and a negative 26g, they're like terms, so we can subtract those. Different signs subtract here. 26 minus 18 will give us 8g, but there's more negative, so negative 8g equals 40. You can use a calculator. And then the opposite of multiply is divide. So we have g equals a negative 5. Moving along, 2-step equations now. Get rid of addition and subtraction first, then multiplication and division. We're doing the order of operations backwards. So this is a positive 13, we're going to subtract 13. We don't have 9w, we have negative 9w. They're very different. These are all negatives, a negative 27. And then last, the opposite of multiply is divide. Divide by negative 9. Two negatives multiplied to make a positive or divide, and we have 3. Then over here, get rid of your addition and subtraction first, so subtract 9. We have 3/5 a. 27 minus 9 is 18. And then again, getting rid of this fraction, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, 5 over 3. Cancels out, we have a. This is really over 1. 18 times 5. I don't know what that is in my head, so I'm going to do double in half. Half of 18 is 9. Double 5 is 10. 9 times 10 is 90. 1 times 3 is 3. Otherwise, you could use your calculator. 90 divided by 3 is 30. Then we had multi-step equations. Remember, it says solve the equation if possible. So we had 3 different equations. If you have x equals, or whatever letter equals some number like 5, that would be one solution. If you get like 3 equals 3, that would be all real numbers or an identity. But if you get like 8 equals 4, that would be no solution because that's not true. So let's solve this one. Ooh, a little far. We need to distribute this. Draw a box if you need to. 2 times 11 is 22. 2 times negative 1h is negative 2h. We have this 5h over here. So when we multiply, or not multiply, when we combine our like terms, 5h minus 2h is 3h, plus 22 equals negative 5. Then get rid of our addition and subtraction. We're going to subtract 22. We have 3h, and all negatives here, so add them up, that's negative 27. And then our last step, divide by 3. And we're going to get a negative 9. Alright, let's move along. Distributing here, because we have a parentheses, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12 with the c, 12c. And over here we have 12c and 6. We want all of our letters on the same side now. It doesn't matter which one you move. They're both 12. I'm going to move this positive, so I'm going to subtract 12c. 12c minus 12c is not just c, it's 0, it's nothing. There's no c's left. If I have 12 carats and I take away 12 carats, I now have nothing. So 6 equals 6. Well, 6 does equal 6, so our answer is all real numbers. Whatever we plug in for c, they will automatically be equal. Down here, if we distribute down here as well, 5 times negative 3 is negative 15n. 5 times 2 is 10. So if we get all the n's on the same side, I'm going to add this 15n. Same thing over here. Again, they cancel out. They make 0, and I have 2 equals 10. Well, 2 does not equal 10, so this is no solution. Last one like this. Distributing here, but be careful, this is a negative 5, so negative 5 times 2 is negative 10y. A negative times a negative makes a positive 35 over here. There's a 12y and negative 3. All I did so far was distribute. Now I'm going to combine my like terms. 12y and a negative 10y. 12 minus 10 is 2y plus 35. And then get rid of your addition and subtraction first. So subtract 35. We have 2y. These are all negative, so add them up. That's negative 38. And then the opposite of multiply is divide. And 38 divided by 2, well, 30 divided by 2 is 15. 8 divided by 2 is 4, so 15 plus 4 give us 19. There we go. After that, we learned solving proportions and setting up proportions. It says you made a model of the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington for a report on architecture in the United States. Cool, but we don't really need that information. You used a scale of 1 inch to 50 feet. Anytime you have a scale, that's a fraction. 1 to 50. We have inches on top and feet on bottom. This is the model. This is real life. Your model is 12.1 inches tall. So let's think, is that going to go on the top or the bottom? Well, inches are on the top. So our real life Space Needle should be on the bottom. We're going to just cross multiply. 1 times x is 1x. 50 times 12.1, let's type that in, gives us exactly 605. If we divide it by 1, we'd still have the same answer, 605. And on the bottom we were talking about feet. So this Space Needle is 605 feet tall. On this next one, make sure your negative goes with either the 2 or the 3, not both. So when we cross multiply on this one, we need to make sure that if we have addition or subtraction, that stays together. So negative 2 times 2v plus 14, is that equal to the other cross over here, 3 times 4v plus 14. Okay? So let's distribute. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4v. Negative 2 times 14 is negative 28. Same thing over here. 3 times 4 is 12v. 3 times 14 give us 42. 30, 12, 42. Yep. Then we need all of our letters on the same side. Move the smaller one. So I'm going to move this negative 4 over to be with the 12 by adding 4v. I'm moving this whole term. So those are gone. We don't have any v's left. We have negative 28. And 12 plus 4 is 16v plus 42. And then solving this, get rid of your addition and subtraction. Subtract 42. We have 16v. These are all negative, so add them up. 40, 50, 60, so 70. Negative 70. And then last, the opposite of multiply is divide. Negative 70 divided by 16. We get a funky decimal. We get negative 4.375. There will be one that you might have to round on your test. A couple more with solving proportions. Cross multiplying. Doesn't matter which one you do first. I'm going to do 18 times 30. Set that equal to the other cross, which is 15m times 36. That's just multiplying. 18 times 30 in my calculator gave me 540. 15 times 36 also gives me 540, but there's an m there. We can multiply these because this is really all multiplication. So if we get rid of this 540 by dividing, we have m equals 1. Not 0, that's 1. Alright, last one, solving proportions. You burned a CD of your music and then created an artistic CD label for it. Cool, but we don't really need it. Your friends liked it so much they all asked if you would make CD labels for the CDs of their music. Again, cool, but we don't really need that. So far, it has taken you 6.5 hours to create 3 CD labels. That information goes together. We can write it as a fraction. It's going to take you 6.5 hours to do 3 CD labels. So how long will it take you to create 4 more labels? Well, labels goes on the bottom here, so we need to figure out the time on the top. So let's cross multiply. 3 times x is just 3x. 6.5 times 4. Let's multiply that. And we get 26. And then last, just divide by 3. It's not going to be a nice number. We get 8.6 repeating. If you want to round it to 8.7, that's fine. But that would be 8.6 repeating hours. We learned last writing equations in function form. Function form means you're going to solve for y. So drawing your line down here, we need to get y all by itself, so we're going to move the x's first. These are positive, so the opposite to move them would be to subtract 18x. Those are gone. We have negative 2y, and then difference, this has an x, this doesn't, so we can't combine them, so just write the x's first, negative 18x, and then plus 26. And then last, the opposite of multiplying by negative 2 is dividing everything by negative 2. Make sure when you divide every piece. 2 negatives make a positive. 18 divided by 2 is 9x. Oops, this isn't positive, it's a negative because there's a negative there. 26 divided by 2 would give us 13. Same thing over here, we're going to solve for y. So we need to get rid of this, and we need to get rid of this. It doesn't matter which one you do first. I'm going to subtract our 8x first. Those are gone. We have negative 6 minus 6y. Can't combine those either, so write them separately. Negative 8x plus 18. Still getting rid of numbers here, just whatever's added and subtracted. I'm going to add 6. I can add it to this 18 because neither of them have numbers or letters with them. Negative 6y equals negative 8x plus 24. And then last, the opposite of multiply is divide. So we have y equals, 2 negatives make a positive. 8 over 6 we can divide by 2. Will give us 4/3 x. And 24 divided by 6 is 4. So if it's not going to be a nice number, just leave it as a fraction. Our last two here, yep. Rewrite the equation in the formula. Solve this for h. So first, like we've been doing, order of operations backwards. Getting rid of that addition and subtraction first. So this whole piece was added on. We want to leave the h where it is. So I'm going to subtract 2b. So those are gone. We have s minus 2b equals ph. And these are multiplied, so the opposite of multiply would just be divide. Divide by p. P over p is just 1. So we have s minus 2b all over p. Looks like a lot, there's a lot of letters there, but all you're doing is moving the letters and numbers around until you get the letter you want all by itself. It's just like what we were doing with the x's, the y's, and the numbers. You just have different letters. This one we're going to do the same way. We want to get, this is L, all by itself here. So leave that. Let's get rid of whatever's added first. So I'm going to subtract pi r squared. So we have s minus pi r squared equals pi r l. Well, these are all touching. This is all multiplied. So if we want L by itself, the opposite of multiplying is divide. I'm going to divide by pi and r. If you wanted to do them separately, you can, but those just cancel out. Pi over pi is just 1. And just write it like it is. S minus pi r squared over pi r. We can't cancel these out because this is r squared, this is not, and there's a subtraction here. You can only cancel if it's only multiplication and division. So this is really our answer. Alright, good luck on your test.